Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to the final round of our April Newcomers Tournament. We're going to be featuring our top 4 players from the other 4 rounds. That would be Relic, Classy, the Samurai, and Esper. Morgan, still here with us, providing some additional commentary. Whoa, there's silicon on this map, Morgan. Did you see?
No, I crashed. I can't see
Oh, you
anything.
crashed.
Yeah, I can't move. I can see the colony.
I wonder if everybody else can move. I guess we'll just wait and see if they found. Now this has started very differently from how I was expecting. Well, we'll see if these players found. One thing I've noticed is that they found very late. We'll also see if anybody complains in chat, so I'll just give it a little bit here.
I imagine they must be able to see the map.
Alright, well, yep, our players are founding just fine, so...
Nice, wow.
Apparently it's on your end. I wonder if you're going to catch up at some point, or if,
I don't know.
Either way,
Let's see.
we can go ahead and move forward with talking about what our players are going to do right now. Relic starting with the triple steel mill. Usually not advisable, might work out this time with $10 iron and your opponents being scavenger. All of your opponents being scavenger, in fact. This time around, Hydra says silicon nodes crash the game. It seems to be accurate at this point. I cannot dispute that for the time being. Samurai with a bit of an unfortunate found this time around. Samurai has founded last as a scavenger. Managed to get hold of a high carbon, and that's it so far. Needs to go ahead and claim some other tiles to move forward. Classy, with the earlier found, second found of the game, has managed to push to HQ level 2 already, and is getting into farms already. Farms are going to be hugely profitable, and Classy already has a decent source of aluminum, a good source of water, a good source of carbon to move forward this game. So Classy looking to be in a good spot in a lot of ways. Relic and Esper both have managed to get to 2 at this point. Esper does have access to adjacent silicon, as well as a geotherm nearby, and good enough carbon to get by. Plenty of resources nearby Esper. Have to see if they can keep up with Classy this game.
Yeah, I've caught up now. I like Esper.
Okay, good. You're here. Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean
So
Esper's...
just a lag spike, not the end of the world.
Yeah, just very, very long till everybody settled. I was going to compliment Esper on claiming all the silicon, but obviously he hasn't. So...
I mean, there's other silicon in the east too, right? And it's especially accessible to Classy. I gotta say, I really like Classy's found this game. You were a little far away from the aluminum at the start, but because he got it, and he had access to 2 aluminum tiles that were about equidistant, actually 3 that weren't all that different from each other. So I really do like the found from Classy. And also, nobody else seems to have claimed aluminum, so...
It's going to be a problem for everybody else, especially $77.
Yes.
That's a small fortune.
Turns out, I still maintain that as the game currently stands, aluminum is the most important resource. I've always said that. I still stand by it. Everybody needs it.
Yes, everybody, yeah, well, it is. You're right. If you haven't got a decent source of aluminium, then you're going to find it really hard to upgrade. You get away with it if you're a robot, but otherwise... Wow. Classy is the only person with aluminium. That's a big
Samurai's
problem.
moved into some now, so Samurai might be able to hold on and recover, but you can see that Relic, okay, I mean, Relic's making steel, that's great. Relic has bought into enough aluminum to get to the upgrade. Look at how much aluminum that is, 160 aluminum, it's $92 a piece. Oh boy, you gotta claim the tile, realistically.
Yeah.
I wonder what would have happened this game. I genuinely am curious as to what would have happened if Classy just threw down and was like, alright, all the high aluminum's mine. Let's go.
I'm not sure if that would pay off.
There are 4 of them, so that probably is too many, honestly. But there are nukes this game.
Well, yeah, I'd be having a goon squad on my aluminium and buying nukes for everybody else's.
It's $89. $89 is a lot. I do want to point out that we have somebody rooting for Relic at this point. So Relic got a little extra pressure right now. He needs to perform in order to live up to the fan hype, which is not something we're used to around here.
Well, yeah, good luck. I mean, he's got aluminium, I suppose. He's managed to claim a tile. It's only a medium. Should tick him over, maybe, but it's very susceptible to a goon squad. Sorry, a nuke if you haven't got a goon squad. I mean, that's down to a trace. Yeah.
HQ3, are you going to take aluminum? This is the time. Two claims left. What's going to happen? $106 aluminum. Underground Nuke still 2K. See, the only reason I'm upset with Classy at all right now is purely because Underground Nuke still cost only 2K. There are spies available.
Yes.
If I'm in Classy's position, which everybody who's played against me knows this, and especially Blues, because, oh man, I'm horrible to Blues with this sometimes. It's just nukes for days. We did have an Underground Nuke go off from Samurai. No, from Esper, targeting Samurai's Carbon. An interesting choice at this point. Meanwhile, Samurai has targeted Classy's Carbon. Not the resource I would be after right now, I'm being honest.
No, the aluminium's far more impactful. It's much better to just nuke all that out. But get a goon squad on your own one. So
Classy does have a goon on the Carbon as well, so Classy can honestly fix this problem, this nuke problem, by just picking up slant drilling, and suddenly it's just not an issue at all.
well, there's another high carbon next to a farm, so
Yeah, and there's that too, right. I don't genuinely think 4 Carbon is quite enough most of the time, especially if you need to push to off-worlds, which might be okay this game. Oxygen and food both up in the high 300s, so they'll probably be good later.
Samurai has got tired of Classy's aluminium being on the edge of his base, so he nuked that out.
Good.
Which we need another nuke now onto ESPR or Mr. Relic.
Esper hasn't. Oh no, Esper does have that medium. That's right. You mentioned that earlier, and that's important. It's just a medium though, which is part of why it hasn't been as impactful. It should have been nuked like 6 minutes ago.
It should, yeah, but carbon obviously more important early on.
No, it's not. Quiet.
It's not. No, it's not at all. No. But
You know it. Stop lying to our players.
well,
So
that's what they thought.
it's weird. This is kind of a weird Carbon tile to figure out, because this trace tile is a bit strange because it's providing you almost 1.4 Carbon a second, despite the fact that it's a trace tile. So there's kind of this weird decision you have to make all of a sudden
Really?
of, do you leave it as a trace tile, or do you do something like round out your electrolysis triangle?
Possibly the electrolysis triangle. I mean, there is another carbon there between the glass and the electrolysis. So maybe go for that one? Who knows?
Maybe. It is going to be a patent lab coming up for Classy, which honestly I kind of expect slant drilling and teleportation to be priorities again with this patent lab.
Yeah, slant drilling would be a lovely pickup. I mean, I don't know whether it's worth. Probably is worth on the aluminium, but not for Classy.
Virtual reality also looking quite strong. We've got a fairly large colony. There's a decent pleasure dome spot, 3 adjacency on that. It is going to be slant drilling right away.
I mean, yeah, patent lab. Sorry, a pleasure dome. It's got to be good with power down at $8.
Yeah. But I mean, 268 is the base on the pleasure dome right now, and that's with not even everybody up at HQ5 yet. So.
Wow, it's going to be a really decent pleasure dome later on then.
Yeah, certainly will be good, and I think virtual reality definitely going to be a potentially important tool. Lots of patent labs kind of at this point. Esper working on getting one down with a couple of laboratories. Usually 2 is not quite enough to push me to put my patent lab there, but it can be moved into a hacker array once you're done with it with those 3 offices, so may be worthwhile to go ahead and get it done. Teleportation is what the Samurai has prioritized.
Yes, teleportation is going to be good. Cut those fuel costs out. Fuel's kind of variable, but I don't know. Slant drilling, I think, when there's nukes around, would be my favourite.
10k for nukes. Those have been getting thrown out a bit more, and yeah, it does look like the Samurai's aluminum was nuked at some point. Relic has kind of got the advantage when it comes to aluminum now. Still nobody has nuked Espers, which drives me crazy, because it is the most efficient nuke out of all of them. You nuke the mediums. I know it's weird, but you just do it. Trust me.
Take it down to a trace. That's the way.
Nope.
Relic can get up to HQ level 5 if he should wish. Possibly he does need to buy a few shares first.
Yeah, the scavengers all have a lot of cash. You upgrade, you throw down a bunch of buildings, you have no money, and they all just randomly decide to kill you. It's not likely, but trust me, it happens. I would know.
Yeah. Samurai's actually got his HQ4 if he wants it. I mean, he's suffered a little bit because he's taken all these claims. He's got hardly any claims next to his base. I mean, 3 wind turbines, well, possibly over commitments, but he's trying to upgrade and do patents at the same time, which is going to be really difficult for him because he's just not making enough money.
Yeah, not enough money, and I think you're right that the 3 wind turbines are kind of the core of the issue, but you can also see that getting your carbon nuked, I mean, early on, maybe not that big a deal, but as the game goes on, it's still going to hurt. Got your aluminum nuked out as well. The other carbon tile really isn't good. This was a difficult map to figure out, but I have to wonder if there was something to do beyond just this scavenger, because it just feels so bad. It feels so weak, this scavenger play.
Yeah, it's a split carbon, that's the problem. I mean, it's nice to have water next to you, and if you'd have managed to grab the aluminium, that would have been even better. But splitting the carbons is always tricky. With nukes as well, it's, well, problematic to say the least. But teleportation for him will possibly help. He's going to be able to...
It helps. The biggest thing it does, quite frankly, is suddenly those wind turbines can be other things more effectively. Right now, they're not being particularly effective because they're electrolysis reactors. But long term, that should actually help out quite a bit, I would think.
Yeah, he can utilise those now, which is good. But then power is increasing in price, so he'll have to watch himself. He might need to get some other sources of power down. But classy.
And also, this water is starting to come into its own a bit more. Water's quite pricey, although classy. With the high water tile, this is where you can go ahead and nuke out a high. Go ahead and knock that down to a low, although committing a 3rd tile to it once again, I really don't like seeing our scavengers go for triple water tiles.
No, it's spreading the claims far too thin. I mean, if there's claims on the market, then it's not too bad, it's acceptable, but at this point, that's a lost claim. All the nukes and everything. I mean, scavengers particularly don't get enough claims, so you need to utilise every single one of them.
Yep, and the nuke does come down on top of it. I would have much rather seen, just instead of committing a 3rd claim there, go ahead and commit 1 goon squad there for the time being.
Yeah, that was the better play, definitely.
There's also this basic idea that Classy actually has water near the base as well. Could have taken these tiles at 5 in particular in such a way as to take a couple of these water tiles just in case the nuke comes down later. Then you've got, a couple tiles that are water and a couple that can be other things, rather than 3 that are pretty much committed to just water for the rest of the game.
Yeah, there's no way to get that claim back, so water's good price now, but later on
might not be. Probably won't be.
Well, it depends what happens with the nukes. I mean, nukes are getting a little bit more expensive, but a couple of well-placed nukes later on when everybody's spent their claims could
I suppose, but everybody's spent their claims in such a way that they have access to some pretty solid water.
Yeah, but the price of water is still pretty high.
Oh, it's high. It's high for the moment. I'm just concerned about once these optimizations come online and things like that, although we just do generally have a lot of very high prices, which I think honestly favors Relic more than anyone else. He's got the optimization center running. He is expansive. Classy, it looks like trying to catch up in some of these optimizations, but hasn't gotten any of them done just yet, and right now the centers are just sitting there idle, it would seem.
Yeah.
Now they're getting started.
Now they're queued up, which is nice. Relic, well, he needs to use his. His is sitting there idle as well.
Yep, also idle.
Yes.
Hard thing to do, keep up with everything and keep your optimization centers and other advanced buildings running full time, but it is important.
Well, ESPR's struggling as well, he's got nothing queued up.
In that patent lab, I assume.
No,
it
in
is
his
running with nanotech.
optimization centre. Has he got an optimization? He hasn't. So why can I see the screen? Odd.
Well, he doesn't have one to me.
No, he doesn't have one.
In any case, nuke comes down. Oh, onto the medium aluminum. A little late, but hey, it gets there. Still $177 aluminum. And that nuke is gonna... Now, this tile can be transitioned into something else, probably just an advanced building at this point, but it is still painful to lose that money.
Yeah, aluminium very profitable. I mean, Relic's managed to get away with his high aluminium still running, so he's been lucky. His water's not been touched either. So he's...
I mean, it's a trio of lows at this point, so, you know.
Yeah, it's not the best, but it's keeping him ticking over. And he's...
Water price starting to crash out a bit since everybody rushed into that market. No big surprise. And that is the danger of... Okay, I guess it looks like... No, that is the danger just of having your optimization centers right next to each other. Both of them frozen out at the same time. Although, looks like Thinking Machine's doing some work for Classy.
Yeah, but I mean, food is the market to be in at the moment. It's ridiculous, $400 food. We've got Samurai going to be profiting from that along with Classy, ESP, and...
Do want to point out the strangeness of Classy's goon squads right now. Typically not the kind of thing you want to do against power surges in particular, have them all clumped up in this fashion.
No, spread them out.
Yep.
Nothing on
Defend
the...
different areas with the... It's working out okay for the moment. Hasn't been hit too hard, but definitely just a little bit of strangeness with the goon squad.
Yeah, again, building around the base, which just lets the EMPs and, well, mainly the power surges.
Thinking Machines, you can kind of get away with it. You know?
Oh, yeah, if you've got Thinking Machines, yes. It's probably to your advantage to build around your base like that. Classy.
Let's see. Relic did figure out to build a pleasure dome at some point, I do want to point out, but no virtual reality has been taken yet this game, despite that is already a $417 pleasure dome, and it's only got 2 adjacency.
It's a beautiful pleasure dome. He put it up about 2 sols ago when he did his upgrades. Somebody else has noticed it as well.
Yeah. Just Black Market starting to fly everywhere. Now that we're in that late stage of the game, it would have been good to see Black Market a little more active earlier, though I gotta say, the nukes were at least going off early.
Yeah, probably still 20k nukes though. I mean, I think they're probably worth hitting, certainly anybody's aluminium. I mean, that high aluminium must be earning a lot of money. $443 from that high aluminium tile. That's pretty tasty. It's almost as much as the pleasure dome. It's a little bit more than the pleasure dome.
Hard for me to figure out at this point who's in the best position. Classy does have a lot of patents, although ended up with superconductor, probably not what you're really looking for when relying on a geotherm that's separated from your base. Also has energy bulb, which seems to be helping out a little bit with all this. But other than that, has some strong patents, has moved out of the lab at this point into optimizations. So lots of different optimizations for Classy. We've got 2 food, 2 water, 1 oxygen, done, and that's it so far, but a lot more queued up. Meanwhile, Relic has, let's see, 1 water, 1 aluminum, and then a few others queued up with, it looks like, a second optimization center on the way. So Relic with a little cash lead, but Classy still seems to have the advantage when it comes to production, unless the sheer claims from Relic can overwhelm that. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top from all that. I'm still very concerned about this triple water tile from Classy.
Yeah, Classy seems to be making more money than Relic. Although, I don't know, you'd have thought the Expansive really should, with a few decent optimizations, be able to power through and outproduce the robot. It'll be interesting to see who's going to win that particular battle. Classy firing the first shots. Yeah.
Yep. Usually good to be the first mover here, as it just bumps the stock prices around a little bit in your favor if you're the first one to be picking up those stocks. But you really want to be able to get as many of them as possible. Classy just falling a little bit behind there.
Yeah, it's neck and neck though. In terms of cash, in terms of stock.
It's going to come down to those optimizations. And Classy, with a lot of food optimizations, got 2 done already, headed into a 3rd. That could really make a big difference here. Relic doesn't have any food optimizations done just yet. And food, is really where it's at right now. Food and electronics is kind of what we're looking at, but electronics, deceptive in a way, because yes, they're very pricey, but of course they produce very slowly, and they cost this very expensive carbon, and of course this very expensive aluminum. It can be a bit surprising in the way that gets in the way.
Yeah, I think glass was the one to be in, and Classy rotated out of glass to get into a couple of wind turbines, which I think was probably a mistake. I'd have probably stayed in glass.
Yeah, I mean, the wind turbines are great at paying down your debt, and that's fine, but typically when you're in a race to finish the game, it's past time to be worried about debt that much, and you need to just be scrounging together every last bit of cash you can.
Yeah, I mean, Classy gave up a 50k lead to make that transition.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're 50, 70k in front of somebody, you just keep going. You don't want to be doing any transitions, just in case they come and overtake you and get the buy. Because it is.
Relic's doing the same thing, so it looks like it's going to work out okay. Relic moved out of food and into solar panels, so very similar decisions by these two players, and since both of them have done it, it does look like Classy's the one who's got the edge at the moment.
Yeah, I think
I do want
Classy's.
to point out, by the way, Samurai, just real quick, has $300,000 and hasn't defended himself yet. Just throwing it out there.
I don't know what he's looking cheap though, isn't he? Two off-world markets. Hasn't bought these last 5 shares. Questions to be asked there, I think.
Yes.
I mean, 400k in the bank, but cheap stock is cheap stock. I mean, if I was the SPR, I'd be snapping his stock up.
That's what I was thinking is, that's tempting. Just, you'll want to go ahead and get a hold of that stock while it's available, especially because Esper's already bought up so much of their own stock. Just finish that up and start chewing away at Samurai. Yeah, he's got cash, but look how cheap he is.
Well, that's it. I mean, you can get 2 stock at least. You may even get 3, but get it while it's cheap. But do you really want to be poking the bear? I mean, he's got nearly 400k in the bank, which is double basically what ESPR's got.
This pile of cash isn't getting any smaller.
Well, yeah, that's it. I don't think you can afford to wait, can you? You've got to make a move, otherwise he's going to get left behind. Whoever wins the Classy Relic battle, they'll start snapping up the Samurai if they got any sense. Samurai, is he going to be in a position to threaten either Relic or Classy?
That's part of what I was wondering, was Samurai was getting to the point where you could consider, him a threat to one of these players. I don't know if he's quite gotten that amount of cash together yet, though. He can't actually make a purchase. Now he's having to defend himself. And that's okay against Esper, but it may not be good enough to bring down Classy, who is at the point of being able to acquire Relic.
There she
There
does.
it goes.
Well, Samurai definitely needs to buy those stock in himself. He's got a fighting chance, but I don't know. Esper and Samurai are going to have to work together here to take Classy out.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at this point. Classy, very expensive, $60 stock. Samurai could only get a couple of those purchased before he already kind of just ran out of steam. Now Classy kind of just sits back, waits, makes the cash, lets the subsidiary money roll in from Relic, has to stay on top of the black market, but as a scavenger, well, you can do that pretty easily.
Yeah, the black market's surprisingly affordable.
Yeah, still 20 for nukes. I mean, slowdown strikes, power surges, they're a bit pricey. You do have pirates available still for, say, Esper's Carbon. Should be a decent target with that. Just there are little things you can do that you really want to be on top of. And Classy currently sitting with the black market cooldown, not really where you want to be.
No, definitely not. I mean, I think Classy, well, Samurai's in D levels of debt, unfortunately, so with the upcoming interest tick, unless he pays off a little bit of debt, it's going to be in a little bit of a weak position, making it even cheaper for Classy to snap him up. And
also lost access to the black market. No dynamite, no nukes, nothing.
No opportunity to...
No pirates, even.
To mess with anybody, unfortunately. But it's still good to see where Esper's going to make the money to be able to make a comeback. I mean, 300k in the bank is small change, unfortunately.
It is, but these markets have become quite threatening. 50k a launch right now. Relic doesn't have a market. Classy doesn't have a market. And 2 markets apiece for our other scavenger players. Classy, still it looks to be in a good spot, but really needs to get this buy done fairly quickly.
Yeah, I think Esper, he needs 532k to be able to take out the Samurai. I mean, if he had the money, maybe an opportunity for him. Have half the Samurai. That'd be some.
Just stab the Samurai in the back. Be like, nope, taking you down.
I mean, he'd have like access to one off-world market for the sub, but again, and he'd probably get some stock for Classy, but I don't know. Classy's
It's just not going to happen. I mean, Classy's making, it looks like, more money than Esper is for the most part. They've been pretty even, but Classy, of course, only needs 360 at this point to take out the Samurai.
Yeah, as soon as the Samurai's in.
Close.
Oh yeah, as soon as he takes the Samurai, then wow, those off-world markets as a sub, he's going to be massively profitable.
Yep. Relic also... Okay, Samurai has sold out of Classy. Classy's going to want to finish up that buy immediately.
Esper needs to...
Press the button! Alright. That was close.
There we go. Okay, well, going to be probably an easy clean-up now for Classy. Esper's not got any money, really.
Yeah, it would be worse if Samurai had managed to sell out of all of that stock, because then Classy wouldn't have reacquired the 2 stock I think that Samurai still held, and it would be a little cheaper for Esper to get to the purchases, but I think even then it likely wouldn't be enough. I mean, Classy's price is simply double Esper's right now.
Mm-hmm. And those subs are going to be...
the subsidiaries are going to come online soon and just start dumping money at Classy, who already had plenty of optimizations to make money with in the first place. I mean, this carbon price has been incredible, and Classy's still just been sitting on effectively double high carbon tiles with adjacency this whole time. That's 6 carbon a second, which is nuts.
Yep, making an absolute fortune. It's been a good run for carbon in this map. TikTok, just a matter of time until he cleans it up.
Yeah, this one should absolutely be over. We're just going to be waiting for Classy to actually pull that money in. Esper still needs about 700,000 more in order to clean this game up. Classy needing probably a pretty similar amount, 726, but should just be making far more money. It's 1,500 a second from the subsidiaries. Great income from these optimized farms. The perfect food tech. Almost 500 apiece, 400 apiece in the electrolysis. The electronics still doing fine despite that high carbon price.
Yep, he's just ticking along nicely. Why blow up ESPRs? Well, yes, blow up his off-world market, stop him making any kind of profits. Not that it's going to make a huge amount of difference. But off-world, off-worlds are looking pretty good. 58, 60k food launches. That's not to be sneezed at at all.
But if they're offline,
yeah, and they're going to cost me steel at $420. Repairing that off-world is going to be pretty expensive. It's going to be 50k, which isn't too bad, I suppose.
well, it's carbon. It does make a small difference. There.
Yeah, it does. I was looking at the wrong guy. That's much cheaper.
Still a bit though. I mean, 50,000 for the repair compared to 20, 30, whatever you're paying for the dynamite. Not that bad, especially considering the time it takes to fix that market. Well and truly worth going ahead and hitting with those dynamites. Classy, just about ready to finish this one up. Esper's still, I mean, the stock price has just gotten out of control with this sheer amount of cash that's been flowing in. And so Classy will be cleaning this up in just a moment.
There we go.
It is.
GG.
Yep. Classy goes ahead and takes the last round, and I do believe with that the tournament. It was good. It was good. We saw Classy in, I think, 2 of our games here.
We did, yeah.
And Classy won, I believe, 2 games before that as well. Did not take round 4 when we saw Classy and the Samurai the first time. But as we called, that game was particularly strange, had a bit of an odd founding location, maybe just not identifying the particularly odd scenario that was that round 4 map. But once we had a more standard style map, it wasn't super easy, but it wasn't as difficult. And once we were back there, Classy did go ahead and pretty easily, honestly, take that game.
Yeah, that was nice and straightforward. Lots of optimizations there. Perfect water, perfect food, perfect O2, advanced power, advanced fuel. Really did the difference. 22 optimizations really made the difference there.
That is a lot of optimizing.
Well, when you consider that the off-world markets were launching at 60k profit on food, I mean, you've got to have perfect optimizations if you want to try to compete.
Made $1 million in food. That's not normal.
It's mental, isn't it?
And perhaps just not enough food production from our other players to compensate. They were launching food, but you really wanted to pair that with optimizing food yourself, producing food yourself, so that the price stays a bit more reasonable. Makes sure your off-world market stay profitable and keeps that optimizing player from pulling in quite as much money from the on-world markets while you're looking off-world for your profit.
Yeah, exactly.
Still though, well played. Well played by Classy.